All right, everyone. Hello. Thursday, February 20th. Awesome. Okay. Let's um let's start with checking in and especially most importantly noticing or sharing any thoughts if you've got them that you're watching, that you've noticed. You might even put one out if you think, okay, this is so repetitive. I want to take it to inquiry, but we'll just see where it goes. Not required. Just take a look. So, Teresa, how about if you start? Let's unmute you. All right.
Um, let's see. So I'm going to babysit tomorrow, and this whole planning, I I love these boys. I've done inquiry about this actually as well. But it's just on the top of my mind since I'm going tomorrow. And so I always feel like I need a treat, and what I've been trying to do is find a plan. So, so what does that look like? So, I sometimes will take my lunch over there. I sometimes will take a treat over there, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's just very it's just right now kind of, I guess, on the top of my mind of, okay, how is this going to play out tomorrow?
So is your experience in the past doing this been like disappointing, like where you wind up, you feel like eating because you're there with some of the thoughts that are happening?
Yes and no. Either I eat because to make myself feel better, I'm tired, whatever, or I leave the house starving. like, and so I know that's
Yeah.
not good. Yeah.
I love noticing that flip flop. Yeah, that happens. Yeah. And do you mean leave the house like when you're leaving their house?
Right. When I am done babysitting and
Yeah.
heading back home. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love noticing there's something between all or nothing. Yeah. It's great that you're just considering like what would be kind. My favorite question is what would kindness do?
Yeah.
What would I do? Maybe I have like even in I'm thinking about plans. There's been so much talking about plan. Like maybe a plan is even I take a meal that I like and then I have something over there also, that would be, I want that to be open to me. I like that idea.
Right.
Eating something that's over there, taste,
Right.
having something that feels, yeah. You have to see, and you could take, you'll take being kind, that question with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because their house has no treats, right? And so in my inquiry that I did, it took me back to childhood where we had nothing. And so I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
and that equaled I'm bad or I'm not good enough or I'm not deserving or,
Yeah.
so I'm hoping since I did that inquiry and had that discovery that tomorrow will be different.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, there's some good thoughts that I'm glad you shared that. Even that just that one core, that going back to I'm not good enough again, and that can appear in so many different contexts. You could do it many times. So
Yeah.
good. Thank you. Love
Thank
it.
you.
Isn't that great? It's beautiful to consider. Like instead of saying I shouldn't be worried about that, it's just babysitting. I'll just go do it and whatever. Like to just bring it. Like no, there's something that happens there.
Right.
And I want to look, and I might not have the answer right in the moment, but I'm thinking about what I could plan that would be helpful. So it's supportive. Yeah. All right. Abby. Let's unmute you. There you go.
How are you?
Good. Good.
Nice. I guess the thing that keeps popping up into my mind right now is just that it's an underlying sense that there's something wrong with me. And I know we've touched on that and the idea of I need to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually came across this yesterday, the day before. I've been doing a lot of writing when I was traveling, and one of the things that came up was that always in the past when I've started to have some contention around food or I've put on weight or something like that, I've always run away from it, and I've always run away to things that I think, because I think I need to be fixed externally by something external.
Oh.
And I realized that, well, I was going to the past and think, well, this time it's going to be the same as those in the past when I've just been miserable. And I'm like, yeah, but you've never just tried to sit with yourself and maybe, for lack of a better way to say it, fix yourself from the inside. But there is that sense that then I go to, but there's something wrong with me or something needs to be fixed, which I guess relates in some way to what you were saying with Teresa, that I'm just not good enough or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. In my head.
Yeah. No, that's great. Something's wrong with me. Something's missing. Something's missing.
Yes, that's a good one. Yeah.
I like that
Ding,
one.
ding, ding.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. All right.
Thanks.
Susan, if you're able to share, you can. I know sometimes. There she is. Let's see. Let me unmute you. We don't hear you yet. You might have to unmute yourself too.
The next window.
There you are.
This is just, I'm sorry I'm late. I was having a massage. So,
Oh, well, good.
totally therapeutic.
Yeah.
Anyways, check in. What's been going on for me this week is largely some of the thoughts people had from last week in the session have been staying with me and there's something going on with the thought that we worked last week was I shouldn't gain weight.
Uh-huh.
Somebody shared something about when they were young, and people were saying that oh, she shouldn't gain weight, and it's like she didn't have any control. It was taken out of her control, her body and stuff like that. And that sort of hit a nerve. So I've been just pondering that, letting it rumble around there, sort of asking sort of what thoughts are generated and feelings about that idea. And then I was doing this other meditation class, and something was suggested, and in the sense where somebody was telling me what to do, and I just had all those feelings come right back up. And what they were asking me to do is something that doesn't work for me, and I know it doesn't work for me. And the same sort of feelings like I have to listen to what somebody else says instead of what I know my own truth is,
Yeah.
right? I don't know what that means. It's just that this has really brought up a lot of things along that line.
Yeah.
So
That's a powerful one. Yeah. Somebody else is not saying you're saying this, but there's another authority somewhere, and I need to listen to it, or whether I
yeah,
like it or not,
but I'm allowed to find my own way.
Yeah.
I have to do what's it's imposed on me. So I've lost control of things, or I'm not allowed to have control. Yeah.
Which is what I often think of as like with diets.
Well, that's how it.
Yeah.
It's richer than the diet, right?
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Well, diets can also be a control thing for me, where I feel when you get into that sort of anorexic thinking.
Yeah.
Total.
Right. Right. You got it. I understand. Yeah. The nuances. Yeah. Depending on the situation, you got it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Maggie, hello.
Hi. Could relate to everything that everybody's bringing up already, but I woke up with crazy thoughts of I'm stretched too thin. There's not enough of me, and it was related to work, but it was funny how it was all physical. I'm stretched too thin.
Uh
There's not enough of me,
huh.
and I have this habit at work because I work from home.
Uh huh.
So I usually work in a room upstairs that I call my office. But I like the sunlight in my kitchen, so I've been working in my kitchen this week, and that's like a recipe for disaster sometimes, because I tend to just kind of like get up and just grab a snack, kind of graze. And so this week, I noticed I would really try to be aware of my numbers when I'm eating, that the hunger scale. I can't say that I'm working within it, but I am becoming more aware, like, oh, I'm at a 5 and I'm eating. I wonder what that's about. So I feel like I'm getting closer um, to really connecting more completely with my body,
Mm-hmm.
related to hunger. But the thoughts, I did a brief investigation on the thoughts of I'm stretched too thin, and what happens when I believe that thought. And I feel like I need a deeper inquiry into it. I worked with it enough, just kind of mentally, without writing it down or anything,
Mm-hmm.
just to relax with the thought, just to kind of relax with it, but not really. I don't feel like I've really done enough investigation, but I'd say that's where I'm at.
Mm. Yeah, it's a good one. I'm stretched too thin. And what was the other one?
I'm stretched too thin, and there's not enough of me to go around. Like, there's not enough of me to get everything done. There's not enough of me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Kevin's here. Hello, Kevin.
Hi, Grace. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm on a roller coaster ride. I think last time I was on a call, I was talking about how I've been doing this like particular diet and reducing, sugar and carbs and whatnot. And I did that pretty successfully all last year, and then I let what hair I have down a little bit over the holidays, and I haven't been able to get back to it. And like, it's like I'm coming back and forth, but yeah, it's just this. I have this crazy issue with control, and last night all I ate for dinner was a whole bunch of chocolate. And I'm just like,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not really like. I'm conscious of not like berating myself for it, like it is the way it is. But I've mentioned before that like I'm also doing another form of inquiry, and I'm clear that the reptile part of my brain is trying to protect me from negative feelings. It's like, look over here, eat the chocolate, and I'm willing to see and experience whatever it is that it doesn't want me to, but I just love chocolate so much. And it's like, part of me doesn't want to not eat it because it's so good. And like I went a whole year last year without eating any chocolate, and I'm just like, how the fuck did I do that?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I'm definitely starting to put on weight, which has never been a problem for me.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had a really high metabolism, but now that I'm older and my body's changing, it's just like, oh, look at that. That never used to be there. And, there's part of me that's like, I don't think I like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't want to like get into this whole control business. So anyway, yeah, I'm really grateful for the group and the support, and
Oh,
that's where I am.
yeah, I love you're here on that. Yeah, it is tricky. It's very interesting to watch that. Going a whole year without something, or being, and then just also noticing how much you love chocolate, which every single thing could be questioned. I love it, but sometimes that gets heightened when you go without for a long time. It's just watching that kind of sometimes just coming back to, and if you think you should be back to where you were with that, like never eating it, and I don't even know how I did that, and it's just not even thinking about, then that lizard brain, I think, kicks in too on, we're going to eat it.
Yeah.
So I like having some kind of balance. You find what's right for you. But I like noticing what, for myself, what's weird is when I don't, it's been a long time since I thought I should cut out chocolate. And when I don't cut it out, it gives me more option of like, do I actually like it as much as I thought? Like that something has come in that notices I don't know if I like it as much as I once thought I did, when it was a little off or a lot not allowed. There's a weird thing that happens in there with that, at least for me, for sure. It's like when it's allowed and I get to see if I really, really, really do like it or not. And this is not always the formula. So you get to watch, but
Yeah.
Sometimes with that scary thing of like, I shouldn't be eating it, it's better if I'm not, and that's all in the background, then the survivor just wants to grab, because it's like a little pleasure is nice in life. Yeah, so I'm glad you're here. Yeah. Okay. So Heidi's here. Hello, my dear.
Hi, Grace.
Hi, we're checking in, as you might be able to hear. We're still checking in.
Yeah. So I'm just dealing with a lot of illness in the family, and old stuff with siblings and stuff that's going on now. So
Yes.
Gives me an opportunity to have a break from thinking about food.
Well, yes. Yeah.
So,
Blessings. Thank you.
thanks.
Yeah. Okay, Laura. Hello, my dear.
Thank you. Hi. Sorry for being late. I don't like being late. Loved hearing everybody. I've really been online today and been more connected than I usually am, and I'm really rather liking it. I might start having parties and inviting everybody over. I don't know where y'all live, but there's always planes. So here's what's happening for me today. Right now, at this very moment, I'm at a 1 and I'm not eating. And what I realized was that I was eating at a 1 as I'm investigating this, and that I'm supposed to wait till a 3. And so it's been really curious for me to do this. And eating, I don't really want to eat until a 7. I mean, even eating at a 1, I think I'm stopping at around a 3 or 4. I just don't want to eat that much. Now, that's been a problem in the past, where not eating as unhealthy for me as eating too much.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I can restrict. I've never been anorexic, but I've been definitely anorexic in my thinking.
Yeah.
And I've fasted for days and days.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, I love watching this. I'm loving this right now, because what the scale is doing for me, and I realized this today for the very first time, I mean, to have new insight just gives me so much hope, is that I have never gone without somebody telling me what I should eat. So I've never known what I should eat. I have always had somebody do that for me from the time I can remember as a youth, and being in the neighborhood, and And so I've always looked for a diet. I've always looked for a plan. I've always looked for a way. And some of those ways I've learned a lot from. You know, I love keto. I love how I feel, except that not being able to eat and restricting makes me do exactly what you were talking about. I want it more.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know, except that I'm just going to watch from 3 to 7 and we'll see what happens. Got out of the shower, still don't like what I see. Okay, but I did look at it. I stood in front of the mirror and looked at that stomach and looked at those. I didn't like what I see yet. I'm not
That's
there.
something just to look, isn't it? I mean, that's something just to look.
Yeah,
So
it is something for me.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
there, thank you. That's it. All I got.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Dee, hello.
Hi there.
Hi.
Still no video.
Okay.
I'm doing okay. I went out for lunch with a friend that I haven't seen in a while, and I just notice how when the food comes out, there's this discomfort of like, what, how fast should I eat? How fast should I eat? What should I eat? What should I leave some behind? And it's like, it's my mind is so busy with analyzing
Mm-hmm.
how I should behave. And this doesn't happen regularly when I'm just eating by myself or with my husband. I usually eat very unconsciously. And food just disappears. But this like gave me insight to see what happens when I'm in a social situation.
Yeah.
And it was kind of busy.
Just good. I mean, yeah, good to see. Hyper conscious, like you might be unconscious in your regular, which is not. We're supposed. That's just very hyper conscious. Yeah, a lot of us are noticing how what we think other people are thinking if they really saw, like, had a camera on us all the time of us eating, and then in this situation, what we think they're thinking can be interesting.
Yeah. That was probably where it was coming from. What is he thinking?
Yeah.
About what I'm eating, how much I'm eating.
Yeah. So good to watch.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Every so often, a really interesting exercise is you stand in the shoes of the other person who's looking at you and write a judge your neighbor on yourself, but it's really like on that person that they see. It can help you capture the thoughts you think about yourself. Okay. And Wendy's here. If you're able to share, Wendy, I unmuted you.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Grace. Hello, everyone.
Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be here. I'm just in the middle of making 4 batches of pierogi dough and a pot full of cheesy potatoes because my daughter and I are going to have a pierogi making party tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm listening in with most of myself. Yes.
I love it. Well, that sounds wonderful.
Well, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're doing one of the things of the world that we all, that sometimes you get in the middle of. It's like what human beings do. They make food and share it together and feast together, if you want to call it that. But like, and can we do that? Yes, we can, is the answer, without hurting ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. And the gathering with her and I and her son will be around. It'll be a hoot. It'll be a party. It'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I don't know what else to share right now.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, great. Love that you're here.
I'm grateful to be here.
Okay, well, definitely going with what some of you said at the beginning specifically, that you're thinking, you know, like this, I'm not good enough, something's missing here. Something's missing is a good one, because probably anybody can find like something's missing with this moment, or something's missing with me. Something's not quite, needs a little something. So maybe we go with that. And it can be, if it's on you, okay, but something's missing, and you could find the situation when you've had that sense about yourself, about the food that's before you, or the food you're done eating, but you still think something's missing. You can just find that moment when you have that thought, that sense. And if you don't want to do it on food and eating, you know, sometimes these are really interesting. People always apply them to something else if that's what's up. Something's missing in this relationship, something's missing. You just find out what it is. What's the situation for you? Like, where are you? Where do you get this sense? What's the moment? I'm thinking something's missing. Maybe you're looking at a few situations, you know. Anybody need any help, like kind of finding that? You want to talk about it a little bit? You can find it. Okay. Yeah, Heidi.
So I had this thought that was pretty difficult. My brother is very, very ill, dying ill, and he had a bone marrow transplant like 35 years ago, and I sort of like was taking this like inventory of his life between like then and now, and being like going to a very depressed place about it. Something missing is like something is missing from life.
Yeah.
Like he was granted this, like he already had a near-death experience, and he was granted like 35 more years, and I'm not sure that he made the best of it. And
yeah,
I feel very guilty having that judgment.
Sure. Well, how wonderful to notice it and be looking at his life and like think that's okay. It's good. It's there already. The thought came. So I mean, you can see what comes up. I would say that's a good one. Like looking at this in a way, looking at brother and just that life flow. You're looking at 35 years. It might not be super specific, but you've got your evidence that something's missing. And I just say, pause the guilt for having the thought. Put that over here and still look. It's a good one. Yeah. And we'll just see what happens when it's super general. It's like a lot of years and not necessarily a specific moment. That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So everybody just noticing that thought. You might even have to feel like me, take a moment and like figure which place am I going to apply that or sit with it. It's a repetitive thought. So something's missing. Right. So in that situation, however you've arrived at it with something's missing, is that true? Of course, you can write, you can speak it out loud, whatever works for you. Share it in the chat. Let's see. And if you notice a yes, see if it is absolutely true. There's something missing here. Anyone want to share what they found there? Part one.
I keep getting a yes. I don't really know
That's good.
why my brain is just sort of coming up with a yes.
Yeah, love it. Just to find the honest answer.
What's interesting for me is when you say something's missing here, something's missing, and then you said maybe this meal, and I thought, the thought popped into my head, yeah, every meal. I feel at the end of the meal, something's missing. And then I thought, is that true? Is there something missing? And the thought came up, yeah, you're missing.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Awesome. Just great to notice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens when you think this thought about that moment, that situation, that day, that life? Just looking. What's it like? What does it feel like? How do you react with the something's missing? What happens?
I feel like I need something, like I said earlier, it brings up that feeling of needing something external to fix me.
Mm-hmm.
That I need to look elsewhere, that I need to just hit on that right thing that's going to make me be complete, or it's going to give me what other people have that seem happy or in control of themselves, or not have what that have seem to have it together. Like if I just get that key, makes me think that, and that makes me not at home in myself. So I'm disconnected from myself, from other people, and I'm obsessing about whatever thing I am trying to use to externally fix me.
Well, that it's like that. If something's missing, I start hunting.
Yeah.
Out.
Yeah, and with the advent of the internet, it's really easy to do that because you can just go online and be like, well, something's here, it's got to fix me.
Yeah.
I got to find it. It's in there somewhere. It's the most unfulfilling.
I know. What workshop can I go to? You know?
Yes.
You know. Indeed, I feel a rush to find the thing that will fix this feeling. Yes. Yes.
For me, it's a little different because what came up for me is as we're redoing our bedroom, slowly remodeling our whole house, I had to empty my safe space out.
Mm-hmm.
And something's missing is that I'm so anxious about having that all out of order. So when I see something I believe is out of order, something's missing. And I feel resistance and fear and scared, and I'm fighting reality. And then I look for someone to blame, my husband, fix it faster. Don't make me go through this. Why do we have to do this? Even though I want it done, I just don't want it out of order. So there's something missing. There's an order. And I don't even know what it's missing. I just know that it's missing.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Mm. Mm. Who else wants to share? Something's missing. What happens?
I feel like a frantic, something's missing. So food. I mean, that's really quick to, okay, so now nothing's missing because you're filling the space with food. And I connected with what Teresa said about self, connecting to self, because that's when I notice it. It's before I eat, though. Something's missing. I'm preventing me from connecting to myself, because then I might have to figure it out. I might have to be more present with myself or with the feelings of emptiness or separation or whatever that is, disconnection.
Mm-hmm. It's a good one. Yeah. What about you, Heidi? When you look at it, how do you react? Like, what happens? I'm sorry, you might have to unmute yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just feel overwhelmed with not knowing. That there's so much out there that, you know, like there's too much to know.
Oh.
You know, that and too much to connect with, and but whoever said that about the internet, it's just too vast. And it's too, or the universe is too vast.
Yeah, yeah. That's powerful. Yeah.
But what the other interesting thing that came up is that when I said yes, when I said something's missing from life, and I said yes, I immediately knew that I was writing the wrong worksheet.
Oh. Ah. What'd you see there? Did you see what?
Yeah, that, I mean, it's connected, but that the worksheet I need to write about is that I want him to die happy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I guess that's what's missing, but the missing feels like the more of the 35 years, but that's what I really need to write.
Yeah. Which is, you know, I like, sometimes that happens in the reaction. You kind of go, oh, what happens when I think this thought? I've done that before, where you're underway, you move into it, and I just love that. And you find, wait, what is this really what I'm most disturbed by? Because you just can find out what else you're disturbed by. Yeah, it's cool. I don't know about you, but I some of you might have found this. Something's missing. If it's not the frantic hunt for it thing, it's sad. I'm just sad. It's very, very sad. Kind of like the abandoned feeling, you know, just there's nothing I can do, maybe even despair. So that can be just good to notice. And you can see how you treat yourself. This might be something's missing about you, but looking at the present moment of whatever moment you're thinking of, in that moment, something's missing. You see how you treat yourself. If there's anything new or different there when you believe something's missing with this moment. Or in that situation. You just might notice that's where some attack thoughts happen. You know, there's sadness that something's missing, but there's some pushing wrong towards the self, towards whatever this is, whoever I am. I'm not getting it right. You know, looking at things like they're right or wrong. And Dee says, you know, I'm flawed for not knowing how to settle myself. Or, yeah. Okay. Anyone else want to share anything for what happens with this thought? Here's my perspective. Something's missing. Noticing how you treat the moment.
Yeah, for me, all of the above. It's the it basically says if there's something missing, there's a problem, and I have to solve a problem. And since I don't know what the problem is, I just know there's a problem. There is a lot of frustration and beating myself up because I should be able to see the problem. And then it gets into overanalyzing things and go down a rabbit hole and get to a dead end, and then more self-flagellation. It's just, vicious. But yeah, and there's still confusion.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. And Dee says, I'm afraid that if I find what is really missing, I won't get to eat. That's good too. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Yeah. That's a good one to notice. Yeah. Okay. So, who would you be without the thought, or what would you be without the thought something is missing? Looking at that moment, end of the meal, some of these, just whatever yourself, whatever the self is. But without the thought, something's missing.
What comes up is a curiosity to be in that moment with and sort of become more aware of just what is there, and just start looking at what is there without anything driving that, just curiosity.
Mm. 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 And Kevin, much less anxiety, much more relaxed. Great to notice. Yes. Yeah, I notice if I'm thinking about my relationship with my son, and I just noticed without the thought, it's like he's not in the room anyway, whether I'm having the thought or not. Like he's not here with me right now. But without that thought, I'm just thinking about him and how much I like him, how much I love him. It's just like, much more relaxed.
For me, I can be excited about the changes that are coming.
Uh-huh. Yes, yes.
And I know that it's going to end. I know that
Yeah.
this organization's going to end, or my idea of this organization.
Yeah. 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 I love that sort of temporariness that happened, like just your situation, because you can see it's like that with everything, like even with food, you know, we eat and then you're no longer hungry. So there's a space, and no matter what, it will, like the cycle, it'll start over again. You know, there'll be a new thing. But I mean, it's just being okay with the moment that you're in, and also just, you know, relaxing.
That is why I have said so many times, if I could just eat the exact same thing every day, then I wouldn't have a problem with food. And I have tried to do that. Exact same thing, trying to keep it in order. Control. That's control, right?
Yeah. I mean, you know.
Or that's the thought of trying to control. If control actually exists, I don't know. I don't think so. I haven't caught it.
Yeah. Yeah, without that thought, something is missing. Can you find that at the end of the meal, Teresa? I like that you were seeing every meal.
Yeah, so I was thinking about my dinner tonight. I had made something for the family a new recipe. I've never made it before. And so I thought, if I couldn't have that thought, something's missing. If that just wasn't even an option, and it made me realize how often I am looking for what's missing. I always, especially when it comes to meals, but in life, I'm always looking for what's missing.
Wow.
And so if I couldn't have that thought tonight, I would have been satisfied, right? I would have enjoyed, I would have felt whole and peaceful. And honestly, I would have been thankful for the food, for the fact that I actually made it. Because I'm so tired of cooking these days. I'm just, I've been cooking for many years. And I'm just at that point where I'm so tired. But without the thought what's missing, I was actually grateful to myself for cooking.
Wow. Nice. Yeah. How about you, Abby? Can you find it? Are you doing it on There's Something Missing with Me?
Yeah, I'm having trouble with form. I think it's because I'm so tired that it's drifting a lot.
Yeah.
But I find that when something's so ingrained, it's four that I trip up on.
Yes.
Dropping the thought. And this one, it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm starting to let go of these thoughts already, and so it's a little bit harder to grasp. I'm not quite sure.
Cool.
But I don't.
I like that thing that turns and, it's like turning and looking at ourselves and deciding something about whatever we are. Sometimes it can be with number 4, like, do you have a chair in the room that you're in right now? Is there a chair?
Yeah, I'm not in it, but there is a chair.
Yeah, because so you look at the chair. The chair doesn't think there's something missing about itself.
But there's nobody in it.
Right.
But it doesn't notice that. Yeah. That's such a good point. Okay, continue. Sorry, I jumped in there.
And if you can feel, I mean, it's oddly, but we're so brilliant at projecting. So you imagine you're the chair. Like sometimes a person's in it and sometimes there isn't a person in it. But just being the chair, it doesn't really matter. So it's like if you were the chair, you wouldn't have the thought, oh, there's something missing. you know, you're just like hanging out all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
It gives you a little feel of, I wonder what this is like, because it's tricky when you are turning around and looking at yourself, but it just like, what if, you know, or a rock doesn't think there's something missing, the little pebble that's next to another different size rock. I should be that size, you know. It's I like taking different things that aren't actually a human being
Yeah.
to get the feel of it.
Yeah. I could see that's useful.
And so could I be the same? Could I be the same? Like, look, just feel it in the same way. I don't have the thought, there's something missing. I'm just here.
Yeah.
All right. So let's find a turnaround. Okay. So who's got one? Something is missing in this situation. I mean, you could say nothing is missing. Or that quality that you think is missing, it isn't. And I love that. Could that be just as true or truer? Are there any examples? And even like, however it is just right. Like, we don't need any more or any less. It's just the way it was is just exactly right for that moment, for that situation.
Yeah, I mean, I know that from, you know, with my thing, nothing is missing from life, is that, like, you never know what somebody's purpose in life is. You know, just don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Could be that nothing was missing.
Yeah, could be just as true. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is interesting because I noticed that some lives are like a baby's born and then the baby dies in 6 months. I mean, it's like, you know, just the thing that you were mentioning. I mean, the mind will think you're supposed to do all this, you know, live and do all this stuff, but there's many beings where that doesn't happen. It must be okay too. I mean, interesting to even see uh, how is that something interesting? How is that a good thing even in my life? Yeah. And of course, you just might notice. I mean, sometimes it can be helpful to, even if you're not even sure, like to say, well, I have enough air, nothing, there's no air. I have clothing, I have a shelter, I have a roof, I have gravity. My ears can hear. There's a lot of things happening here. And in a way, it kind of points to my thinking is missing something. You know, it's my thoughts that are missing
That's for sure true.
Except for my thoughts, it's actually, things are fine. There might be some interesting thoughts that are actually missing that I have thought before. Even go that direction, you know? It's like,
You use the term often disordered thinking.
mm-hmm.
And so in my case, I want to say my thinking is out of order. And that reminds me of disordered thinking.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yeah, I love that. Right. Right. Uh-huh.
And yet everything has its own order.
Hmm.
There's no way to paint the room if all of our furniture is in there.
Yes.
Well, there might be a way, but no matter what, we'd have to put everything in the middle, and so there's an order to everything. And when I'm fighting that order, I'm fighting reality, and we all know what happens.
Yes.
I just need a reminder.
Yeah.
I'm just causing myself pain here.
Yeah. Can you find all the way like there's something interesting or an advantage or good about what's happening?
Oh yeah, I'm there. I'm excited. That has to be reordered in order for the carpet to go in and the paint to go on the walls, and same with downstairs, and for things to get fixed. Absolutely, I can find that.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then when we do the family room, in order to have enough room for all the, and I'm glad I'm doing this now, because next it's the family room, but that's going to make bigger because our family room is so small that it'll make room for the kids, and so that it needs to be a new order.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
It's just fun that it's happening physically in the physical world, in the space. It's kind of like you have to break things down, then put them back up, and then break them down, and put them back.
Yeah. And the only thing wrong with it is in my thinking.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And people might think, oh my gosh, I would love to have that, and well, I don't think I would, but
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for this.
Mm-hmm. I love yours, Teresa, that like the end of a meal or making your meal or whatever, like how is it a good thing? It's just my thinking is missing. Nothing's missing in that moment.
Yeah, in fact, there's something wonderful in that moment. Many, my family's there, my husband's there, my kids are there. There's many wonderful things in the moment.
Yeah. Which is so great because there's been lots around, like especially the end of a meal when you're done eating, like the body's satisfied. And it's like, what? I want something more. And just to simply notice the things that are there and how is it even okay that there's this end of a pleasure before the movement to whatever's, I don't know, just that everything moves, it all moves all the time.
Yeah.
I love, Teresa, what you said about that you were missing, because I'm missing at my meals, and reconnecting with my meals, beginning and finished, is just a different order for me.
Yeah. I mean, that is really something, to be grateful. I'm so glad it's done. How different than how I'm so glad it's over. Even about life, life, we just have to be, well, but now I'm just glad it's done. I mean, it's not really the survivor of brain way.
Right.
Yeah.
When I'm in fear, I can find that. As I'm noticing that I don't like to be away from my home, and my way, I want to get home. I'm glad this is done. But for something that's joyous, like a life is ended,
Mm.
you know, to find joy in that. Even to find joy, I can't find joy in the end of a meal if I haven't enjoyed it.
Ah. Yeah. Yeah. I like that word. Enjoy. Enjoy.
It's kind of an acceptance of, okay, and it's done.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's okay. And yeah, it's not a relief or a negative,
Mm-hmm.
glad it's done. It's an acceptance of things begin and end, and everything begins and ends.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
As I've not had a set plan on what I'm going to eat, I'm not, before when I had a plan, I'd actually end eating and couldn't wait to eat again. Right?
Yeah.
So it would just go from one obsessive thought to the next, finding a way to be obsessed about the next time I get to eat.
Uh-huh.
And now I tell myself, okay, I'm at a 5 or 6 or 7, and if I really want to be at a 10, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
There is no end. I don't have to end anymore.
Mm.
No one's telling me I have to do something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just get to do what feels good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot more enjoyable. A lot more enjoyable.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've just been punished. Like, okay, you've eaten enough.
Yeah.
That's enough, young lady.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so great. It's like, that sounds like it's just the critical parent voice, you know? It's perfect. Yeah.
I can bring her back if you'd like.
Yeah. You know what? You're familiar with this. Yeah, you know her. Yeah. Anyone want to share just what you notice, or after this inquiry, anything brief? Yeah, Susan, hang on, let's unmute you. You're still unmuted. You might have to unmute.
There. Okay, good. No. Yeah, it sort of tied in with what I said at the check-in. I had this little epiphany or something that the one I used was sitting down to a meal and not even knowing if I'm hungry. And when the meal's over, I have no feeling of satiation. It just doesn't seem to be there. And that's when something's missing. That's what's missing, is I don't have this in me. And you know, I don't know if it's true or not, so that we get on to the next part of it. But what showed up in doing the turnarounds was this idea of what I talked about before, was this idea of giving away power and control to somebody telling me this is what you should eat, you know, et cetera, et cetera. And the thing is, what I realized is, to avoid these awful confusion and frustration, I don't want to have anything to do with food, really. I want to be told, because I don't want to have those feelings. Like, I gave away the power. I'm the one doing it. It's not somebody else imposing it on me. I don't want to. I don't want to spend time with food, because I just generates all these. That's the tip of the iceberg of the feelings that are generated. But that's the starting off point. It's like, number one, before I even touched anything, I have confusion, frustration, feel sort of helpless, and yeah, I don't want to be there. So I'm definitely not.
You know what's really sweet is it's noticing, like, it could be like a turnaround. Instead of something's missing, it's like there's too much of something.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't get to the too much. I got to that I wasn't there. Like, I checked out at the beginning of the meal.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to feel that. So
yeah.
Okay.
Too many feelings. And I suppose but thank you. I mean, great noticing, you know, just.
Thanks.
Yeah. Kevin, how about you?
Where I've landed is that nothing can be missing because everything is perfect.
Yes. Right.
I don't always live in it, but I can get there, and I did this evening.
Yeah. 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 Which is really, I mean, really sweet. It's just noticing that the mind forgets that sometimes. But
Yeah, I made a list of things that are missing, and one of them is peace.
uh-huh.
And yeah, when I get to the thought that everything's perfect, I am at peace.
Yeah.
So it's not missing. It's just, yeah, my thoughts are missing.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah. Maggie, how about you?
I got to nothing is missing from me, and the feeling of I have, like, I am what I need, like I am whole, like that feeling of wholeness and completeness, and just being completely satisfied with self, kind of with who I am, that I am enough.
Wow.
Yeah, because that's what it felt like in the question 3, that I don't have what I need. I don't know where to go. Just yeah.
Here he is.
That's it.
Yeah. That's great. Awesome. Thank you. Anyone else? Thoughts after? Very sweet, beautiful inquiry. Wonderful thing to catch, just watching that. So I just like even thinking, since it's such a repetitive looping backs that this happen at some points in life, it's like just watching in the mind, how does the mind even know something's missing? Like that it says that. It's only through comparing. It has to have remembered something or just it's a feeling, So finding examples, great living turnaround. Nothing is missing, like Kevin was saying. Only in my thoughts. And my thoughts aren't supposed to know everything. So it's okay that they have something missing. Yeah. All right, everybody. Lots of love. Very lovely to be with you in inquiry. Take good care.
Thanks, Grace.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Grace.
Bye.